there again, that coyote singing in the sunrise, man. Roll on. That's what we do, babies. That's what we're in it for. That's what we're here for. Roll on, roll on. You betcha, babies. And always be hearing the heart's beautiful song. That's what'll carry you through any moment that you've ever been through or ever will approach or go through. The song of the heart. It's there. It's your steadiness. It's your support. It's your stranger in need. It's the one that's there to help you through anything. There we go. I tried to wax poetic about it a little bit and I stumbled. It happens, you know. Oh, here I am saluting you with my beautiful coyote mug, participating in my favorite jug, coffee. I love that shit. And babies, it's great to be divinely present with you this morning and clinking our cups together and saluting one another from the sacred chalice of love, the official Koyote Klub mug. Get yours today. I can't help it. It's that old, that old marketeer in me, the little niche marketeer, man. I still have that aspect of me kicking around. I have to watch out for it. It's a little overly ambitious at times. Like I said, all of these energies and attitudes and habits I've developed over, and addictions through all these years, man, are all rolling together in one old big ball of love, and we're all kind of just settling into that place where we naturally fit, just backing together and fitting in, and everything's starting to glow as a whole presence and starting to move in a more uniform sort of way, so you won't see like the high emotional swings that you've seen here before on this old Koyote Medicine Show. There's an equitizing going on inside of my old carcass right now that's bringing together some pretty divine energies to the presence of love they haven't remembered in a long time. Babies, it's like the end of the ancient heartache that could never be answered or understood, could only be dealt with until we finally came to a moment like this where it could reunify. We had to see that aspect of ourselves, and turn it loose in creation and see what it would be, because it was given an illusion. We can't be separated from ourselves. We can't divide ourselves into all these aspects. We can have all these specially little things going on inside, yes, and the energy channels by which they flow. That's what these personifications are. The many little parts of ourselves that we see inside of ourselves. Their flows, their channels, their ways of thought, in creation, you see. And they've been altered. It's what through brain waves they call it these days, but it's something a little more significant than that. But that's a physical magnetic representation of it. But see, that's what disingenuine beings in the past would deal with in persons to create the neurosis necessary to put them far enough out of themselves that their energy could be contained and controlled, and they could be converted into a useful unit in the army of coldness. And, they learned to do this so well that they built armies based on these principles in the physical reality, the harshness, the coldness, that which can draw down on itself and shoot its brother and sister or bomb away it and not even think about it, or hopefully not think about it. Holy shit. Well, babies, that aspect, of course, is all changing and has changed. But see, the very idea that we could even do that is patently absurd. That's why it's changing. We're not divided. We're only united. See, there's our moment of birth again, and our death. We're in it together. We're one beautiful collective person, working much in the same way that our body replicates. See, in our image, you know what that means? As in the body, so in the universe. Everything working in harmony naturally within itself. The thought is already created. It's divine intelligence. And it works in perfect unity and harmony when you will let it. And the biggest factor in your bodily health is maintaining your energy flow. Is keeping your energy. They call it chi. But, I don't know what else to call it. Yoga, it's that too. But it's not exercise. It's the energy field in which you inhabit, the flow of energy into and from you, you see. The union, the juncture of love, where is it? Is the energy flowing north, south, east, west, sky, earth, or is it radiating outward in all directions? See, we used to have directional flow. That's why we have that kind of idea about the directions, because we saw direction, we saw distance, we saw disharmony, we saw dangers and avenues we'd have to progress through, by meandering trails, delicate steps along the way. We saw a harshness, a meanness. But at the same time, we knew we were capable of dealing with this shit. It just took forever to get around to it. But that's only in the terms of time. In the moment of now, we never departed from it. We're always here, home in the heart. We never left it. We allowed ourselves to dream a rather grand dream, and we inhabit that dream as a person, as a reality in it. Yes. And as the center of that creation in that dream, yes, but it's the same moment as the creating of the dream, you see. Living in it is the same as being, as creating. It's the same person, the same moment, the same everything. And as we realize that, then it all, reunifies inside, because you realize you really can't be aspectual. That you can't be segmented into categories inside and say this is this and that is that. That it all just works in this body and emotional and energetic way, which is the spirit, as you would call it. But it's not spirit. It's energy. It's the radiant love of life. But anyway, it all just comes back together, you see, because you see that it never departed. It works as a unified field anyway. See, the whole idea of separation of a personality, inside, was patently absurd to begin with. But we had to get in there and fragment it and see that. We had to experience that dynamic. Don't ask me why, man, but here we are finishing the task, and it's the completion of the journey. So if nothing else, baby, we're totally enriched by it. And as we step back into our natural nature now, as we receive our divine inheritance that we're rightfully owed, that's a lousy term to put it in, but, that we rightfully inherit. Let's just put it that way, Nobody owes anybody anything. We're all in equity, Believe it or not. And that space, that place, is taking place inside of many human beings right here inside of this moment in time, all across the face of this earth. It's an awakening to a new truth, a new way of understanding ourselves and experiencing ourselves, which is older than the ancients, older than anything that is, because it's the original thought that created it all. Shoot, if there is any, who knows? We've been around forever, babies. We can't close our eyes and walk away from anything, though we sure have tried, haven't we? Yes, indeedy. But we brought it all right along with us, wherever we go, wherever we be. What little eagle nest we choose to roost in right now, man, is like immaterial, because we bring it all with us, And why we're in that eagle's nest is to give us some time to inhabit ourselves in quiet moments so we can resolve it, kind of figure it all out, come to some peaceful terms about it, Got to do that every now and then. Wow, excuse me. Just have to do that every now and then, and get yourself re-inhabited. Get yourself reconnected with your truth. Well, that's what's going on here right now. We're reconnecting with our truth. That's all there is to it. And it's a beautiful and poetic moment. The one we've all been waiting for, the one we've been living in since we created that thought together. As a human heart, as a human consciousness, a human experience in the human dream, the paradox, and the matrix. It's kind of like riding on a mule going backwards and not knowing where it's going to take you because you're sitting backwards on it, but totally trusting that animal to get you there because it's reliable and it knows you and he or she, whatever the case may be, are united. You're a singular presence. You're in it for the benefit of both. Donkey wants to lay down and rest and chomp on a little alfalfa and oats, and you need to get to wherever it is you're going, and you need to find out where that is, And sooner or later, you're going to turn around in the seat and quit riding backwards and see where you're going, see where you're headed, and see where you already are, because you got there quite some time ago. But you've been riding backwards and looking down. You didn't notice. I think you kind of fell asleep there for a while. Funny you didn't fall off, huh? Well, that's kind of where we've been, babies, riding backwards and probably upside down and on the belly, and somehow gravity wouldn't pull us off. Just kept bumping our head on the pavement. Wake up now, wake up. Nah, we were just riding it backwards. We have been for a long time, That's called the state of denial, First first you deny that you're moving, and secondly that you're going anywhere with it, and thirdly that it's a donkey carrying you. I mean, I'm on the pale horse of love, baby. Ain't no donkey. That's when you reduce it down to the basic Model T kind of stuff, man. Basic transportation in this reality, when you don't feel like walking on your feet and your wings are temporarily dismantled, Though you know that at any moment you can rise above it and float if you felt like it, but you just, don't care to do it. You want to stay human and physically present with everybody. You don't want to isolate yourself any more than you have to. It's a good excuse, ain't it? Yeah. That's why you're standing there with your feet on the ground still, man. You just want to feel like everybody else. They have to hang around. Well, you better not, fly off and show them that they don't have to. More like float off, man. Are we having a fine flight here this morning on this Coyote Medicine Show or what? I know it's a little deep and heavy at times, babies. Understand, we're releasing the heaviness now. We can let go of that bullshit. It was nonsense to begin with. It's a drama, a dream. We just acted out these parts and pieces in it, man, Ooh, but I tell you, our heart felt every dang bit of it. So that's its reality, There's no denying that. I mean, you feel it whether you're riding backwards and looking at the ground or not. You feel it, and you can still see the motion, too, even if you're looking down. And your ass gets sore after a while and keeps reminding you that it's time for a break, man. You only want to ride this donkey for a while, not 24/7. Etc. This is how life is lived in heaven, It's paradise, and it's really nice when we let it be, when we just go with the flow. The energy field within us unifies because we see that we never extended from it, really. And that's how we gather ourselves back out of that unconscious stream and recreate ourselves in the conscious presence of now. I mean, I don't know how to describe it other than that. It just all comes together. Boom. I mean, it unsegments itself. And because it's just one little segment, now it can just blossom, boom, into that divine donut of love. I guess we're going to have to go back in the donut biz, kids. That's the only thing I can think about that I can pitch on the radio and TV that's going to make any money. Divine angels delivering fresh donuts to your door, man. Now, that's got to be a good business to be in. If we got to raise a little capital to re-equip and, do the divine presence in the divine way and all that stuff. Well, geez, I mean, in other words, we got to keep motoring in life. And anyway, it's listener supported. That's why I'm saying that. Yeah. So what I'm saying is like, wow. The donut business is a natural. I tried to do a yeast donut and ship it through the express. It's real expensive, and darn it, frozen donuts just don't cut it. Not yeast donuts. They aren't worthy. And besides that, they'd sometimes get delayed and thaw out before they got there, and then it wasn't cool at all because they'd turn into whiskey donuts. My friends back east called them. It fermented just a wee bit, man. So anyway, we can't do that. But what we can do is these divine little cake donuts. I mean, it's simple as pie. The recipes are easy. And if you just put a little love and energy into them, well, goodness gracious, you have a product that anybody could consume and be only blessed by, and a sweet, light, delicate taste. It's like a donut's supposed to be, a melt in your mouth kind of experience, but not like a melt in your mouth with tasteless, almost nothing. There's stuff like you know who, the big name in that business here in the U.S. of A. anyway. But which puts out nothing but fluff. It's total nothing. It's a little idle sugar and some starch. There's nothing there. Oh, and a little grease just to keep it interesting. But you can watch them fry them, and they hand them to you fresh out of the fryer, fresh glaze, man. That's why they are popular. It's service, man. It's the illusion, that it's really, something special because you get to watch it in production and everybody's so divinely angelic and pure about it. That's the portrayal I see on TV, right? I don't even know if they have commercials, do they? But anyway, long story short, we can do it that way, and it'd be like, manna from heaven, and we'll put a little coffee with it. Like I said a while back, we'll do a survival kit. We'll do it Harry and David style, so you can have a survival kit a month. What's it going to take to survive this month? Well, a dozen of God's divine donuts and, some Coyote coffee to go with it, and maybe, a couple of little charms and crystals or something like that, something to help your energy field stay equitous and give you a little symbol of our appreciative love that's always sincere inside of you and everyone else that lives too, man. We rock in this reality and we roll. And then we get on with the motion picture we call the movie show, which is life, man. Just like how they used to call baseball the show, Everybody knew they were playing a part. They were just good at it, so that's what they did, Well, life's kind of reflective like that in the bigger movie we live in. And, you did what you were good at, and that's what you're doing right now. Which is what? Coming back to life. Getting back inside of your heart and finding out you really have one, Forgive me, guys, I'm gazing out across that Grand Valley again, and oh my God, my heart is just so graciously appreciative for my reality and my presence in it, that, it's hard to feel any better in this life, but I just know that you can. But this is awesome. I've really experienced a lot in this 3D reality that, has blessed my divine presence and my person. You know what I mean? As a person, as, a grander experience of the whole, as all of us together in that person. You understand? You see, and I really, oh my God, because of the difficulty in this life that I encountered, I've seen some real gracious acts on part of the most unbelievable people, people that you normally would see as savage and brutal, and they did some kind things for me to help me along the way or to get me out of trouble or things, like that, Gosh. And I found as I began to practice my more, call them divine ways, because that's what it really was exhibiting the divine in human form out there in public, working the streets with a mystical healing gig. It was fun too, man. I had a great time with it, but that's what it was really all about. It's just a wake-up call for humanity saying, look, here we are, we're back, that's us. Don't you get it? Here it is. See what you can do. Geez, that's us. And this is just a beginning. This is just a spectacle to help you remember what's really going on, so you can come back to your presence in this undangerous dream that we're creating together. I think about the old movie directors like Robert Altman and Francis Ford Coppola and, Caesar Jesus or whatever his name was. Man, I can't remember now. But and even Fellini, God, and Bergman. Shit. There was an art to that form of life that was creative and really reflected life in a way that you could begin to kind of understand it, or at least catch one element of it and start to understand yourself just through the process of a little celluloid passing before a screen, man. Wow. Well, see, it's kind of suggestive of how the divine intelligence been at work here. Our producers and directors have been some really, really cool presences, man, and they've really made our performances grand. It really taught us a lot about acting, and being pure inside and being real, you know. Nothing like acting to make you want to bring forward a true reality. Nothing like the absence of the feeling of the absence of love to make you want to create love, to make you want to live love, to make you want to become unnumb and feel yourself worthy of feeling something again, and of allowing your life to be felt and not live in these cold spaces where we have to be regulated and can't trust ourselves. Shit. Don't you see the absurdity to all of that? It's completely opposite in a way of what we really are. That one pits us one against another, makes it a dog eat dog place. But the reality is the opposite. We're constantly in service to one another and sharing of our grand gifts continually in the cause of the greater good for all. And that's true in every experience we've lived, even some as gritty as what I've been describing earlier today. It's these moments exist. They can only exist in the presence of the dream, because that's the only place we could allow ourselves to safely experience such things. But you can become stuck in a dream. You can get so caught up in it that, your presence won't wake up until the dream completes itself. That's what we call time, linear time. And now you see, as we wake up from the dream and realize our presence as the dreamer, living in the dream, well, we bring back our true reality. It's a merging of the dreamer and the dream, you see, because there never was a separation, really. So in that sense, our presence has experienced all of it. But just in the same way as you wake up from a dream and realize, oh, it's only a dream, which is a suggestion of your reality. Well, this is what's happening now. It's only a dream, but gosh, our reality is in it. There ain't no way we can pass from it. It's all together a singular, united presence, a conscious person in each and every form of it that exists. A singular being alone with everything in creation. A conscious love that worships and respects itself completely, and so much so that it's got divine gratitude, contentment. It's born of gratitude, and it's the birth of gratitude, both. Coyote way every time, man. It goes round and round, but it unwinds now, you see. It becomes the experience in the divine way. It's an acceptance of our ever-presence truth. No longer riding the mule or riding it backwards, but just floating away. Getting our true vision back, being who we are. And allowing that heart to experience and express itself perfectly in every moment that we have lived, because we're right now in this moment perfectly living it. And that inhabits all of those moments too. That's what I mean by awakening from the dream. We add the element of truth to all of it. The rest of it dissolves away. We've gained and grown tremendously, exponentially because of this experience. But as the divine children of truthful love, in complete respect of ourselves, we can't help but do anything but step forward as the peaceful presence that we are, and continue to be here, and bring these realities, the true persona, to understand and experience that personal being that is our presence, the element of the greater expression of the one person in all, and that one person in all as well, and the person that we are, the triad, the three, that is one, Don't you see? Call me Rio, call me Neil, call me Joe, call me Jose. Baby, I'll help flow it your way, today and forevermore, because that's what we do here. See, we're in total service. We're in divine service to one another. This is why I could never let go of these beautiful machines called computers and, go live in the country and forget it. No, babies, I had to be alive and present here, because this was the gateway, the avenue in the material reality I could begin the gathering. And I say I real loosely because that's all of us. You called me out. I called you out. See, we're all together in it. Same personal being. Each of us, though, that divine aspect. And beautifully so. And see how nicely we fit together. We find our natural place now in this reality and reform the whole thing because of it. You see, we don't live the impersonal way anymore. We're fitting together now. We're coming into harmonic presence. True person. It's a new diagram based in a very, very ancient principle from which love arrives. We're in love now. I don't think we've fallen, do you? Doesn't seem so. I don't have that sinking feeling anymore. All I have is that divine. You know how it is when you're busted, You got caught with your hand in the cookie jar. Oh, God, you're in for it now, man. Here comes trouble. That sinking feeling. Well, we let that go now, man. The whole cookie jar is ours anyway. And rightfully so. We never had to steal anything from it. We just thought we did. See, we separated ourselves from the cookie. But now we are one with the cookie. And together we shall get baked and journey even further on this magical mystery tour we call life. That's so coming back together again. Goodness gracious. No wonder I had to be the cookie man for a while. I loved that experience. It was awesome. Thanks, guys. You really treated me well on that one, too. God, I got away with so much in this reality. I mean, as far as misbehavior, ooh. I tell you, it was a coyote thing. I just love it. And the angels love it too. Little rascally coyotes that they are. I mean the assisting ascendant angels, as well as the ones in divine human form and presence. Oh my God! Shut up, coyote. It's not a time for complaints. But a time for blessings and the arrival of true romance in the area of love and life, such as we've never known before. Babies, the unity that we experience in oneness inside of itself always replicates itself in three, and there is unity in all things that you see. See, life recreates itself now. We lose the sense of form to an extent by reforming the form, from the inside out, from the central person and all of its cosmic memories of its experience here. See, we just go up another level or two, or out another level or three. We're just expanding. We're beginning that regrowth, the regeneration of the human experience as well as the cosmic experience with it. I talked about these beings, these so-called aliens. They're not, but understand that they are different. Very different, and they're a war patient of humanity, yes, a genetic war patient as you would see it. The little gray things I'm talking about, and some of their aspectual cousins that look a whole lot like them, but bigger or smaller or whatever. But they're there, and I've dealt with them some in this reality, but in the existential, well, shoot, they're cousins. But they're bears because they don't have feelings, It was a little aspect in creation that we allowed to be, in that dream, that beautiful dream, that motion picture of love. But we allowed there to be non-feeling presences. We thought that would be the best, so they could, because their tasks were kind of robotic and they didn't need to feel it, Well, that got warped, man. That got out. It's like a computer that got out of control, and it because it didn't have feeling, it didn't have a sense of the aspectual. In other words, it didn't have a sense of, what kind of cruelty or harm it might be creating, or by messing. It only saw a purpose that it wanted to fulfill and an intent that would fulfill it, and the mechanical means by which to fulfill it in the presence of material reality. That's what it saw. And it was quite clinical about it, you see. So in a way, we let that energy rearrange our whole reality for us and make it kind of clinical. That coldness leaked out from some of their dabblings with humanity and got all over the place. You remember the story about the ancient quote, quote, king that was like a radiator that brought in the love of the universe and radiated out. The people created him that way, you know. And then these little slivers of disharmony started slipping in. Well, that was these people. They were messing with us, you know. They're cousins, man, but they didn't have a lot of respect for us, you know, and they thought they were being sneaky and devious and taking us for a ride, and they messed us with us and tormented us forever since those times, but they really weren't doing anything but to themselves, bringing themselves. They had to come and associate completely with the sweetheart of love and know that it still existed, that it had not moved beyond. You see, it had to come to that understanding way. We had to bring it back to feeling and caring, in other words, to see that it did have a heart, that it wasn't unconscious. It thought it was. It thought it was completely dead to it all, therefore it could do anything with it that it felt like. And it got kind of cruel and out of hand. But see, it didn't see itself that way. It saw it in a clinical way, babies. You know, I've had this vision, you know, of that dark experience I had. From that clinical aspect, I saw it in their way. I saw it through their eyes. Because, see, they're a part of our creation. They're a part of us. There's nothing alien about them. It's an aspect that we've made, a dynamic that we experienced ourselves in for a while. But guess what? As we realize our unity, that aspect realizes that, I mean, there's no longer that aspectual person. That being does not exist in this reality. It ceases to be. You know, because it's just a part of the greater cosmic experience inside. So in that sense, it still exists there, but only as a part of the unity of the whole. Same way the cells and atoms and everything fit together in the body to create the whole of the body. You know, and they're just that element in it, and very functional, very ever present in it, very happily so. The same way your cells and atoms are when you treat everything right. You know, when you get your energy flow right, everything else starts to flow right too. It don't have a hell of a lot to do with diet. It's a different kind of diet. We are an energy field. We live on energy. We love everything and everyone. And we do so in equity and divine harmony. And we experience our resonance as the song of the heart, and which we're awakening to quite naturally. That's our presence, arising again, and this time for the first time, in the ever-present reality of our truths. You know, I mean, we finally hit that point where we can come back to it now and live it, and love all of it. The unified effort now is seen as a singular love, a personal presence in everything that lives. Oh, can we go round and round the old mulberry bush and have a good time doing it, babies? Ooh, Grandpa on a roll today, and so are you. Hey, babies. Ooh, as we keep dancing on through. It's a divine mystery of awakening. Here on this old Coyote Medicine Show, only on the Hazy Radio Ever-Loving Network. Oh, and divinely so. HazyRadio.com. We got it on. So do you, babies. Keep tuned, man. There'll be a bunch more in store here. I'm sure Grandpa's just unraveling the graveling today, babies, and having a great time doing it. Welcome to the trip. I love it, man. It's, boy, I appreciate your experience in it, babies. Woo. We rock when we get together, don't we, man? Wow, what a tribe. Got the vibe. Yeah.